Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley. I'm the Cozy Alchemist. Welcome to my home, and I hope that you enjoy your time here. I'm going to get into the 4 things that have helped me get back into reading, having ADHD or ADD, but we call it ADHD now, girl. So, the things that have helped me enjoy reading and getting back into it smoothly, because I was very, very intimidated at first. And so, if you find yourself wanting to get back into reading as an adult, you kind of gotten away from it, you kind of dipped off. I know after college, I kind of was like, I read like 1 or 2 books a year, y'all, maybe 3, and they were all nonfiction. Like all of them were nonfiction. So getting back into reading, getting on book talk and booktube was very overwhelming for me, especially since I am more aware of my ADHD, since there has been more knowledge and things that have come out, and I realized how much I struggled with it. Here are some things and here are some tips to help you out, and add some more below if I missed anything at all, because we're a community and we're here to help each other. So let's get into it. I will say the first thing that came to mind with helping me be able to focus on my reading was reading out loud. But I don't like reading out loud. And then I was like, no, I don't need to read out loud. I need somebody to read to me out loud while I read it. So immersive reading. Now, if you have not heard about immersive reading is when you listen to an audiobook while you're reading the book yourself. So you have the book, you have your headphones on, or you have it playing, and you're listening to it as you read. And when I tell you this was a game changer for me, and it helped exactly in the way that I thought it would, it helped in the way it would. It helped me stay focused. It helped me even if I wasn't, or if I got distracted. Eventually, you're reading, hearing the words being read helps me refocus. It also helps with understanding and comprehension a lot more, which is a struggle for me personally. And not having to read the same line 5-6 times, it helps with that as well. Now, of course, I love audiobooks anyways, but I had never thought of listening to an audiobook while reading the book. Now, this can get expensive, especially if you're purchasing them, but I will talk about that in another video of different ways you can get your hands on audiobooks and or physical copies of books and it not cost a pretty penny, because we want to be saving the coins, right? Outside of immersive reading, listening to brown noise while reading has I don't know why I didn't know there was a such thing as brown noise. I knew about white noise. And then there's lo-fi. I love listening to lo-fi, jazz, classical, all those things while I'm reading. It does help with me being able to be in the moment and concentrate. But brown noise does something different for my brain, where it just makes it feel like I'm gliding over the reading instead of like reading each word like it's jarring and I'm trying to catch everything. The sound, it hits the right spots in my brain, or as we like to say, it scratches the right itch in my brain that does not make and distract me from what I'm reading. Whereas if I was reading in silence, my brain would be going 20 million miles per hour, thinking about 20 different things while also reading and asking questions while I'm reading about the characters. So if you have not tried reading with brown noise on or having headphones on with brown noise, I enjoyed the experience. Let me know if there's different type of sound or noise or stimulation that helps you while you're reading, because I don't know, brown noise just does it for me. Buddy reading, because we need body doubles, guys. Like we just do really well with body doubles. We do good with like time limits. We do good with like knowing, hey, by this day I need to read these chapters. So buddy reading, and that is, I would say it works better if you have someone physically in the space with you who is reading a book. So I would highly suggest buddy reading, planning something with your friends. I also, in that, if you cannot or if you're not in the space situation where you can just have people, or you can't go over to somebody's as often to read, YouTube videos of people reading, I love Read With Me, or readathons, or all of these videos. They are out there, you guys. Just type it in the search engine, find somebody that meets your style, your flow. Sometimes they have music, sometimes they'll even do a specific version, not a version, but a specific time where they'll read for 15 minutes and then take a 5-minute break. The 5-minute break, you can do what you want to do and then come back for 15 more minutes. Some of them have music, some of them have no music, some of them have ambiance, some of them have no ambiance. Find what works for you, your brain, your body, and what helps you really enjoy your reading, because that's what it's about, is enjoying it and having fun. And find your person, follow them, give them likes, and read that way if you can't do it face to face, or have it somebody in your space physically do it. Another thing, speaking of being in somebody's space or having timelines, is having a book club. And that's either physically going to a book club where they meet, or if that's online, or if that's just a group of friends that you happen to know. It could be friends, it could be strangers, whatever your cup of tea is, whatever your social spectrum is in that, because some of us don't really want to be around people, some of us love to be around people, all of that in between. Book clubs are really, really good for doing that. And there's different kinds of book clubs, so don't just turn it off, because I am not a book club person. I am not. I actually don't like the pressure of someone telling me when I have to read a chapter by, because now it starts to feel like university. And I will tell you this, you're not going to be the boss of me. That is just how I am, especially when it comes to just reading. Like, I've done it before. I've done different versions of it. I've done it with friends. I've done it with groups, and it just all ends the same. Like, I won't finish the book when we're supposed to finish it. I won't necessarily get to the chapter we're supposed to be on. And then there becomes a whole, it's a thing where I feel bad because I'm not a good reader and I don't read that fast, and I'm not catching up, and I'm behind, and I don't want to say anything because I don't know what you guys are talking about, and y'all are ahead of me, and I'm not going to meetings anymore. Or I'm not showing up for online, meetings. That's not what I want to happen. So don't do that. If you are just like me in that sense, don't do that to yourself. Hold on, I have an option for you. But for the others, for you guys that doesn't bother you, it doesn't really have an effect on you, please check out book clubs. Look for book clubs. I have no idea what other apps are out there, but I do know on Fable they have book clubs, and it's based on your likes and everything, and I think it's really cool. And you can actually go in and see like what chapters they're at and where they're reading, and you can comment on the chapter you are on, even though somebody else might be on a different chapter, which I thought was pretty cool, which could alleviate my own issues, the ones that I was talking to you about before. That completely takes them away. So I thought that was really, really cool. But back to what I was saying, it keeps you from accidentally seeing a spoiler or anything like that by breaking it up into the chapters. Now, for the me's of the group who are like, book clubs are just not for me, whether it's for my reason or whatever your personal reason is, 3 words: silent book club. Silent book club. Find yourself a silent book club. Not only, oh my God, I love silent book club. Not only are y'all not picking the same book, it is a group of people that come together however many times they decide to in your area, that specific book club, and you bring whatever book you want. The first 10 minutes, if you're at a restaurant or if you're at a place, you order whatever you want, you chit chat, hey, what you doing here? What you reading? Cool. And then you read. And then the last 10 minutes, it's chit-chatting, or you can leave if you're done or keep reading. I love it. 1, it gets me out of the house. 2, it gets me around people who love reading just as much as I do. So I get to communicate and chat. Like, human interaction is kind of necessary every once in a while, you know what I mean? And it gets you to meet new people, because different people come every time. It's not always the same people. And then also there's no pressure of like, well, we're not on that chapter. We're on chapter 12 and you're on chapter 6, and now you're hearing the spoilers. It's none of that. You're silent. You are silent once that time starts. Once they say, hey guys, all right, we're going to start reading now. You read, and it's so nice. It's so nice. So if you are trying to like make connections, if you're in a new area and trying to find your people, if you are trying to get out of the house every once in a while, but don't really want the pressure of a good book club, or like having to socialize, because you really don't have to socialize. Like, you could if you want to, but you don't have to. But you just kind of want to be around human beings. Silent book club. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. I think it's nationwide. You can find it in your area or you can start your own. There's several in Dallas where I'm at, and there's one I specifically go to. It's ran by an amazing person. She's super sweet. And so I've met some cool people there. And it's just been really nice. So please go check that out if you are needing something like that to keep you on task, to keep you going, to kind of mix it up in your reading spaces. Because yes, being at home is nice sometimes, but also going to read at a cafe with other people or just reading by yourself, like it's nice. So consider that as well. Number 3, I want you to listen to this one very carefully because I'm going to distinguish it between what you might think it is and what I am actually saying. Make it a competition. Make it a competition. I'm saying make it a competition, but I mean make it a competition with you. Do not make it a competition with anybody else, not with the people on Book Talk, not with people on Instagram. Do not make it a competition with anybody on YouTube or your besties in your book club or anything like that. That is toxic and that will get you nowhere but uninterested and burnt out on something that you originally got into to enjoy and love. So don't do that. Don't do that, babe. But what I am suggesting that you do is make it a competition with yourself because, again, for me, I know with my ADHD, if there is not something pushing me like a deadline, if it is not like to work towards something or like give me the ability to scratch something off of a list, I most likely will keep pushing it off, and then that book won't be read and it will be 6 months later and it's still on chapter like 5. So what I have learned, because I like making lists and I like scratching things off and I like marking things off and saying, oh, you did that, girl. Good for you. Make it a competition and have a prize at the end, or make it a competition and have prizes for yourself. And also, it's just really nice to treat ourselves because we can. Like, why not? It just keeps our drive going because very often if the newness wears off, we find ourselves like uninterested in it. And this is just a tip I'm throwing in there. If you find yourself really struggling with a book, it's probably not your ADHD. It's probably the writing style or the pace of the book, or it's just not an interesting story to you. DNF it. DNF it. Like, DNF it. Do not, as a person, especially who needs something to keep us in our, like, us going, don't force yourself to read a book that you have found yourself loathing to read. Babe, put it down. Like, it is okay. You can find another way to give it to someone, to gift it to someone, to put it in a little free library. Like your money's not wasted. It will go to somebody else who will enjoy it, and that's okay. Don't let that be the reason you force yourself to read something. But I'm telling you, because it will put you in a slump. It'll put you in a slump that takes a little bit longer to get out of. So don't think it's like, oh, it's just me being me and I can't. No, DNF it. DNF it. It's okay. It's okay. But going back on topic, make it a competition with yourself to finish books that you're enjoying and you really like it. It's something that, it's just attention span. Good ways to do this is one, go to the Fable app. Again, this is the only app I'm currently using. I'm sorry, I have not used Goodreads, so I can't really talk about it, but it gives you a way to kind of like mark it off that it's read. And then every day you can mark that you've read the book, which is really nice too, because it's kind of like a self check-in. It's a little check in a box, which is really gratifying to me. May not be to you, but it is to me. Again, I'm a lists person and I like to see what I've done because it makes me feel accomplished, and it also gives me perspective that I didn't not do anything, and which is something that a lot of us struggle with who do have ADHD. We tend to think we haven't done anything all day because we're everywhere, and that's not true. We've gotten a lot done. It's just we go about it doing it differently because we just do things differently. So that task of like marking that I read this book and then like marking it like I finished it or I'm gonna go read it, all feels really good, and it's like an incentive. Also, as you read books, in Fable, they give you the graphs of it, and they show you like monthly, like how many books you've read, if you've how far you are in your goal of reaching how many books you want to read this year. And they also, give you again the graph that shows you like what type of genres you like, and each time you put in a book that you finished, it changes the graph. So it's just all gratifying data, and it's visually stimulating to me. That's gonna push me into this next one. Number 4 is, like I mentioned, the prizes. So when I say prizes, you figure out what prizes means to you. Every time I finish a book, I get to go into Good Notes and I get to change my digital library. So I love my digital library. Again, I'm a list girl, so getting to write what I've read and moving it over to what I have finished reading. And then I also have a physical book journal that I also do junk journaling in to talk about the book. And so I have these different things that are prizes. Those are prizes to me. Those feel good to me. Art is important to me. So it just feels really good. So you have to figure out what your prizes are. What do you give yourself after you finish that book? What ways do you celebrate that you read the book and you finished it? Like, it's okay to reward yourself. I think I want to challenge people, especially us adults. Like, we feel like we have to just do things because you're an adult and that's how the world works. But I say, trash that. Like, that's dumb. Just because the world works that way and other adults don't need that and don't do that, I don't care. I really don't care. And it's okay for you to not care either, and to do the things that really do help you as an individual, as a person, to be the best version of yourself. And that is celebrating you reading a book and finishing it by doodling for the books you've read. Then do it. Whatever that is, whatever that task is, play around, experiment with it, find out what works for you and go from there. But those are the 4 things, plus a little extra bonus I gave in there about DNFing books. Those are the 4 things that have really helped me. It took me a while to kind of find my pace, because I was doing the very thing I said not to do, which is comparing yourself to other readers. And if you know my story, I grew up struggling with reading. And so as an adult, I was like, oh, this is intimidating, even though I read nonfiction books for fun. Like, getting back into these thick, y'all be reading some thickums. You be reading some thick books. Was intimidating to me. And it was intimidating also because I saw how fast other creators and other TikTokers and you know what, that's them, that's not me. I'm me and I'm not you. Like, we're gonna do and move and exist at different paces, and that's absolutely beautiful and fine and okay. And so if you just needed a reminder, it is okay to be you, and it is okay to read 2-3 books a year, 1 book a year if you get around to it. You don't have to be reading 50 books a year. If that is your cup of tea and that's your do, then you do your do. Like, I'm hyped for you to do what you want to do. Reading is supposed to be about enjoying it. And so this is just a reminder. You are reading because it's fun. You're reading because you want to learn. You are reading because you want to grow and enjoy it. Don't make it about anybody else's experiences or numbers or anything but yours. So I hope that helped. If you have any tips that you currently use that I have not mentioned, please put them down below, because your girl, I want a plethora of tools in my tool belt, because I really do love reading and I want to continue to do this consistently. And I hope you'd enjoy this video. I hope you learned something. I hope you felt cozy and wonderful while you listened. And you know what? I'm going to see you in the next video, right? Okay, I'll see you then. Bye, friend.